Hey everybody, it is Thursday, August the 19th, 2021. This is kind of a random video. Not sure how this is going to turn out, honestly. Unprepared, unorganized, just a spur of the moment video, more for myself, but for any of you, I don't know, that watch my videos. It's been a while since I've done one. So there's a lot of updates to be had here on this one. So again, this is a very unplanned, unprepared video. Could be emotional, so I'm not sure what to expect. So if you cry by seeing other people cry, you might as well grab you some tissues. I don't know. So a lot has happened. A lot has changed since my last video. And I can't really remember what the last video I did was. It seems like it was the one about broken relationships. I was in the middle also of doing like an 80-day obsession type thing. And I was going to post a video often, just kind of sharing my testimony and just some things that God has done for me. To be quite honest with you, I've not even been journaling lately. It's been a while since I've been into journaling. I think a lot of it a couple years ago when, I don't know, just some broken relationships just really affected me in a major way. But there were also some other things that I believe had affected me in my life itself. In February of 2019, I think it was February 2019, I ran my first marathon. So that is a major milestone in my life, honestly. But I think training for all that and just the ins and outs of eating healthy, eating enough food for energy to run, and just the running and the training all that time wore me out. So by February, first of all, praise the Lord, I ran that race very, very well. I was very impressed with myself, but I give God all the glory for that. I actually paced around a 10.5 minute mile for the whole race, somewhere between 10.5 to 10:45 range. I'd have to look it up again to remember, but it was such a good race. But I remember the feeling going across the finish line. My knees were hurting very badly, and I was just very glad it was over. But I think after that marathon, my body, it was just over workout. It was over dieting, and it was just over, just a lot of things. And then in addition to that, I had some broken relationships that just hit me out of nowhere. So all of 2019, I turned to food, which is not uncommon for me. I've looked to food for a lot of things, instead of looking to God. And so anyway, in 2019, just a lot of things occurred. And in June, I believe, of 2019 is when my brother Eric was diagnosed with cancer. You've heard me talk about him in some of the other videos. He was one of the main features to my testimony because he shared Christ with me on the phone that night, and I accepted Christ. So anyway, he had been battling cancer for 2 years, and so they've been here to visit with us a few times. And I've just kind of watched his health just kind of decline, and I wasn't really sure honestly how bad his health was because we didn't see him all the time. But anyway, so that happened. Like I said, this is unplanned, so I'm sorry. Anyway, I have kind of quit journaling. I think I have slowly been falling into a pit of depression. I think that's been happening for a couple years now. It's nothing new. Last year, 2020 with COVID hitting, and oh my goodness, it is in such a horrible state right now, COVID-19, and there are so many people dying everywhere from COVID, and we've had to quarantine or we've had to shut down things, and it's getting bad again. So me and Ricky went, I think 2 weeks ago, when we had our first vaccination. So we go again in September for our second one. So much is going on. But I mean, with when COVID originally hit last year, I was kind of pleased with it because it was a point of where I could just relax, just kind of stay at home, relax. But I don't know, I just enjoyed the shutdown of life. It was a forced shutdown for us, and I just enjoyed it. But as things just continued to stretch out, people got more and more sick, and anyway, here we are still battling COVID in our community, in the United States, in the world. COVID is running crazy, and people everywhere need healing. But again, so much has happened in my life and in my family. And I'm certainly not going to be able to catch you up on everything. But so anyway, with my depression or my anxiety or whatever it is that I was struggling with, I put on, I would say, 40 pounds. And I was okay with it. I am back on track of trying to lose the weight. And God is showing me that I have a food addiction. I really have a food addiction. It's nothing to be proud of. It is certainly an addiction, and it's going to take God's power to help me to overcome that. But I can tell you, He certainly has not been making it easy for me either. Some other little things that have happened, I don't know, some things that have just happened. My son and my youngest daughter went through a relationship breakup in last year, 2020. Right about this time, it's been about a year now. And watching them struggle has been horrible for me. And their heartbreak, and also knowing the heartbreak of on the other side of this, and the family on the other side of this, has just broken my heart. But yeah, I know it's life. I know people come into our lives and people leave our lives. I'm certainly still struggling with some of the people that have left my life, but God is giving me peace, and He is giving me strength to overcome those relationships and rely on Him more. But with all of that, and with excuse me, I gotta drink my coffee. And look at this. This is my chipped cup. I started to change my chipped cup, but I didn't, because currently in my life too, my husband and I have been watching Once Upon a Time. We just are like, it's like a marathon, Once Upon a Time episode marathon. And, you know, Rumpelstiltskin and Belle have the chipped cup. So Ricky, actually, when he was washing dishes a couple weeks ago, chipped my cup. So he said this was our cup. So anyway, I wanted to mention that as well. But anyway, with everything going on, and with life being so chaotic right now, and just I'm just everything. You know, I had been posting videos not long ago of the 80-day obsession and what God had been doing in my life, and the movement that God was doing in me. And I just kind of quit. But not only on those videos, I just kind of quit a lot of things. So to kind of catch you up where we are right now, first of all, in April of this year. Yes, April of this year, we were blessed with a little girl to come and live with us. I won't mention her name on social media because I'm just not going to do that. But if you know my family well enough, you know who it is. And it was just certainly a blessing of God for her to come and stay with us, for me to be able to help her family out and to take care of her. We have definitely developed a great relationship. And also with her parents, I've been able to develop a really good relationship. But as you know, that certainly brings on some more stress and strain into my family. So that has happened. But more days, it's fun having her here than it's not. But I mean, it's definitely a challenge having a little one in the house again. But anyway, that was the end of last school year. We went to Panama City Beach. She got to go with us. And she just loved the beach, and she's wanting to go back all the time. I love the beach. And so that was a great time. My son is in nursing school, and he has been for almost, it has been over a year, and he is doing so good. I don't even know if I've even mentioned that on any of my posts, but I'm just so proud of him. And it's funny because especially me, with my depression or my anxiety, which is self-diagnosed. I don't know that I really had depression or anxiety. Well, I know I have anxiety, but anyway. So like my heart rate will get real low, or my heart rate will start racing, and I just call for my little nurse that lives here in my house, and he comes and does a full workup on Mama, and then he wants to charge me for the visit. So I'm like, no. It's part of the deal. You got to check your mom and dad out. There was one day he checked his dad out, and I guess, I don't know if he just didn't calculate the blood pressure right, but he was telling his dad that you really need to get to the ER because I believe you are, I don't know what word he used, but it was like cardiac arrest or something. It was a big word. It was not that, but anyway. So his dad got worked up and had a nurse at the church check him out the next day. But anyway, that's new to us, having us a little nurse. We also have a psychologist in the family. She is working on her degree, but boy, I wear her out with all the psychology stuff. Asking questions, how do I overcome this, or how do I overcome that, or I just need somebody to talk to today, or hey, could this be depression? I'm doing this, and this, or hey, do I have anxiety because I'm acting like this, and this, or hey, would this work? Or so yeah. Charlie, the psychologist is Allison, and Charlie has been doing some substitute teaching a lot. So she's working on her college degree for education. So there's not really much that she can help us with from that level, but she's just a fun girl to hang out with anyway. So I don't know what to say about that. She's just like my best friend. She's just like me. Well, that sounded like, I'm like the best, and that's not what I meant at all. Because I know I'm terrible, but I don't know. I just love spending time with Charlie. She's just very forgiving and kind and loving, which all those things I'm really not. But she's fun to be with, and I feel like I'm fun to be with. So anyway, that's way off topic here, which is unplanned anyway, but oh well. So all of that. And then in May, Eric got really, really sick. He struggled for a couple weeks. We were actually in Panama City, and he called us to give us some news, some bad news from the doctor that day. And it was basically that they were going to call in hospice and make him comfortable and just... But I mean, he just seemed so good that day, even on the phone. He was a little emotional, but I mean, all the family was at his house, and he had us on FaceTime. We were over at Panama City. But again, he looked good. He sounded good. And then that weekend, they had a derby party. I got videos of him during the derby party. He was playing music. Again, he looked really good, sounded good. It was just, it just didn't look like the end was near. And then we quickly got a message from his daughter shortly after that his time was coming, and that it was getting close. The doctors didn't expect him to make it but a few more days. And so I talked to Eric on the phone that day, or sometime around in that time frame. I talked to him, and I knew there was no reason, one, for me to come home at that point and just watch him struggle. But praying that he would get better, and then I would come back to Florida, and then something happened and I had to go back. So that's pretty new to us too. We can't just up and take off back home anytime somebody gets sick. It's just my family, we have to plan, or we have to decide what do we go home for, or at what point do we go home. So that's just something that Rick and I always decide. So anyway, Rick had told me a few times that if I was ready to go home, we could go home. I couldn't go home. There was really no purpose at that time for me to go home. The main reason I would have wanted to go home is to go and just sit with him, hold his hand. And those things seem dumb to a lot of people. I don't know. I just